Welcome to the Sailing and Cruising the East Coast of the United States podcast. I'm Bela and Musits. This episode is part of a series I recorded with Mike Malekoff during our sailing trip up the East Coast. We were relocating his Hunter 44 Deck Salon from Brunswick, Georgia to Burlington, Vermont. Please note that the video version of this podcast primarily features photographs and short video clips I captured along our journey. The audio was recorded on the boat, typically in the evenings at anchor or in a marina, although we did record a few segments while underway. Join Mike and me as we explore the United States East Coast aboard his Hunter 44 Deck Salon. I hope you enjoy this podcast. Hello, and welcome to Sailing and Cruising the East Coast of the United States. I'm Bela and Musits.
And I'm Mike Malekoff.
Well, here we are at Hop-O-Nose Marina in Catskill, New York, and I would describe today as sort of a down day from the perspective of not mentally down, but down meaning we didn't have a lot to do. We got the boat all ready yesterday to pull the mast today, and they were not pulling mast today. So Mike and I sort of had a relaxing day on the boat. And I think that's probably the short summary of how to describe it. What were some of the things that we did do today, Mike?
Well, actually, as you said, it was a down day because we were busy yesterday trying to prepare the boat for taking the mast down off of the boat. As you said, today was pretty much a simple day where we had completed just about everything with a couple of minor tasks. One of them was in taking the mast down is pulling all the wires that run up your mast that go to things like the radar system, the anemometer, and other devices, and they run down through the mast and end up in the salon area just below where the mast sits on the deck. And all of that has to be disconnected, obviously, if you're taking the mast off. So we did that this morning. We bagged everything and taped it closed so that it's protected from the elements. And then we just tend to do a few other things. But I think we should touch on the 80 million things we did yesterday, trying to get ready, thinking that we were pulling the mast off this morning.
So yesterday, you sort of have to make a stand to support the mast. And we got, they have a good supply of wood here at Hop-O-Nose Marina. And they actually went out and bought some more wood. And not just for us, but for everybody who comes here. Because there's I would say, all of the transient boats that are here for one reason only, and that's to take their mast down. And so everyone sort of needs to make a stand because they pull your mast out and you kind of put it on your boat horizontally. So it runs from the front of the boat to the back of the boat. And out of some 2x4s and 2x6s, you kind of construct a cradle for it. And being a long mast, we have three cradles that we've sort of put together to support the mast. As we continue, once it gets taken down, to motor up through the canal.
Yeah, and I think that's something we should just touch on is the reason all these boats are here taking their masts down is because they're heading north. And there are two possible routes that you can take heading north, but both of them include canals. One is the Champlain Canal, which is what we're going to take into Lake Champlain, and the other is the much longer, more tedious route, which is the Erie Canal, which goes over to Lake Ontario. But no matter which route you choose, if you have a sailboat, the mast has to come down to clear bridges. And I think we talked on Champlain, it's 17 feet. Is the lowest bridge that we need to be able to get under. So, when you consider, in our case, my boat is 62 feet high. It's not fitting under a 17-foot bridge. So something has to happen, and that means the mast has to come off. But to get to that point, there are a lot of little steps that have to take place beforehand. And one of the first things is in my boat, which operates from the cockpit, I can control all of the sails from the cockpit, that the lines run back to the cockpit. All of those have to be pulled out, and everything that attaches to the mast either has to be tied to the mast or removed from the mast so that it is now loose from the boat itself, and lifting it out. So I don't know if I said that clearly, Bela, but that was one of the first things we started to do, was to figure out which line went to what, and starting to pull them from the cockpit all the way back out to the mast.
Yeah, pull them out to the mast and then coil them up. And in some cases, like the main sheet kind of goes up through the boom. So that one actually stayed with the boom when we took the boom off, because you have to take the boom, disconnect the boom from the mast as well.
And what came off before the boom?
What came off before the boom?
The boom bang.
The boom bang. Right. So, when you first look at a sailboat, you say, man, there's a lot of stuff on it. But then when you start taking it off, there's even more that you discover. And a lot of these things, some of them attach simply with a pin and a cotter pin. Others are sometimes a little more complicated to figure out. And you're going to have to put it all back together. It's good to, like when we took the wiring out, we labeled all the wires. Mm-hmm. You took some pictures. So we were very careful with that. And so anyway, it's a big job. It took us all day yesterday, mm-hmm. for the most part, to strip the things off. We had to take off the jib, and we took that off and we folded it, put that in a bag and put that away. The mainsail we're leaving on. They said we could leave it furled up in the mast, so that's going to stay inside the mast, which is great. We didn't have to take that off. But all of these lines, and as you said, there's a lot of lines. Even coming back to the cockpit, there's like 4 on the starboard side and 4 on the port side.
Right.
So that's 8 lines that we sort of had to take out, unthread through the maze.
Right. And all 8 of them had to be removed.
That's right, all 8 of them. So anyway, we got all that done yesterday, and as well as making these wooden cradles. And I think we were quite proud. Well, we were quite proud of ourselves because we got it all done. We were ready to get the mast pulled this morning. And as we've mentioned in a previous episode, the canal is closed due to flooding. So normally boats come into this marina, they stay for maybe 2 or 3 days.
At the most.
And get their mast pulled, and then they're going because they're heading up the canal. But now the canal's closed, the boats are staying. And so the marina owner spent today putting in putting in additional docks and fixing some broken docks. Because the people that are here are not leaving, and he's got more people coming in. So he's doing his best to accommodate everybody during this sort of challenging time with the canal being closed. Because you have to remember, if you're coming up from down south, you probably left a month ago. And up until earlier this week, all indications were the canal was going to open on Friday,
May 16th.
May 16th. And we didn't find out until May 13th that it wasn't going to open. So, all these sailboats were sort of heading up here, and we're about close to 100 miles north of New York City. So you're coming up the Hudson River, and there's like this parade of boats. And, as some boats leave one place, other boats backfill it from the place further south. So there's this chain reaction. But now there's sort of a jam.
A traffic jam of boats.
A traffic jam that's happening here up near Albany and all of the marinas south of Albany.
And there's not a lot of marinas, and the marinas that are here are not very large. They're not the type of marinas that you would see down south that operate 12 months of the year, that can handle 200 or 300 boats. I believe the marina where I've kept my boat down in southern Georgia can handle upwards of 500 boats. The marinas here, because it's very seasonal, in a lot of cases, if they can handle 20 or 30 boats, that's a lot. And that's including their seasonal people that live locally here that have their power boats at these docks. So transient docks are few and far between, and it is becoming a log jam. Now, fortunately, I made arrangements quite some time ago that I wanted to make sure that we could stay here for approximately 1 to 2 weeks, because Bela, you have a family conflict that you have to go back for a few days. And our plan was hopefully to get through the locks before you had to return home for a few days. As it stands now, we're not going to be able to do that because we still have no go-ahead that the locks are going to be opened. And even if they do open, it's like a traffic jam. It doesn't clear instantly. And you're talking a lot of boats that are going to try and jam into a relatively limited space at lock number 1 and 2.
Right. With limited numbers of slips for people to spend overnights along the canal. Because it's
Correct.
about the Champlain Canal, I think you said, is about a 2-day trip or 3-day trip.
I think it's 60 miles total. So it's if you were just sailing on an open river, it would probably take you approximately 2 days to do that. But because you're going through locks that delay you, it's generally a 3-day trip.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of large places to stop. So
there are no large places to stop.
So it's going to be a interesting traffic jam. But anyway, that's something I guess we have to look forward to once we get the mast pulled and the canal opens. So we had sort of a relaxing day today. Didn't do anything too strenuous. I went for a run. You went for a nice long walk. And
but we did meet an interesting person today that actually came over to our boat, who is also trying to remove their mast, asking for some guidance. And as I said to Bela, I have to give him credit. It's a young guy, probably early 30s, I would guess, around there, that we met, who had never sailed a boat 2 weeks ago. And he bought a boat. He decided to do a lifestyle change, gave up his job, sold his house, his car, and just was frustrated with his lifestyle and bought a boat in Annapolis. And he's sailing it all by himself, and he's learning as he goes, as I would say.
Yeah, and he's 2 slips over from us. He bought the boat in Annapolis, went north on the Chesapeake, across the Chesapeake Delaware Canal, down the Delaware Bay into Cape May, which he said getting into Cape May, he learned a few lessons there. He said it was pretty. He got beat up pretty bad, I guess.
He's learning as he goes.
Yes,
and dropping things off the boat as well.
Yeah.
So I have to give him credit. The reason you're here with me, Bela, and I'm not a 30-year experienced sailor, but I've sailed a boat all the way to the Bahamas and back, and I still don't want to single-handed sail my boat because there are a lot of times you need that second hand. And as I said, and I give him credit for being able to do it in an old boat, as he explained, that's leaking oil, diesel, and water.
Those are the only 3 fluids you have on a boat, and all 3 are leaking.
And all 3 are leaking.
So, but he's got a great attitude. It's really inspiring to meet someone like him, who's diving in head first and doing it. So
yeah.
He's a great inspiration, I think, to everyone that meets him.
I think it's a 1984 Hunter, was it?
Yeah, Hunter Chernobyl, or I'm not saying that. I'm not pronouncing that properly.
It's not Chernobyl, is it?
No, it's not Chernobyl. But it starts with a C and the second letter's an H, and after that I don't know. But it's a pretty old boat, but it's in reasonable good shape, and he's sailing it. He's doing it, living the dream. So hopefully tomorrow morning we'll get the mast pulled, and we'll get it secured to the boat, and then it's just a matter of time.
Wait for those canals to open.
Wait for the canals to open.
So here we sit and bide our time. It's been one of those things where every day we've been moving, we've been doing things, we've been high energy, and all of a sudden today,
it's like, what do we do?
What do we do? Because everything's ready, and we're
Right.
just kind of waiting. And there's one crane here to pull the mast, and the crane is a very, very interesting structure right out of the 1800s, late 1800s, would you say?
Yeah.
Early 1900s. That has wheels and gears and noise and everything else. But as the guy that owns the marina said, he's done thousands of boats with that crane. So it will be interesting tomorrow.
And this isn't a bad place to be. Catskill, the town of Catskill, which is a 10, 15-minute walk from here. Last night we went out to a very nice Mexican restaurant. Mm-hmm. We had a great meal. There's several restaurants in town. Slightly longer walk to go to the grocery store and they
have a Walmart superstore.
A Walmart superstore, yeah, and a Harbor Freight store as well. So it's a little bit of a longer walk, but this isn't a bad place to be. There's
Right.
other places that are certainly more remote than this that you could be stuck in for a week or two.
Right.
That would be a challenge.
And the little tributary creek, whatever you would call it, that we're on is incredibly well protected. That sits down below buildings, trees, is not very wide, which means any boats that are passing by are going very slow. So there is no worry of being waked in the slip. And that's something that can be problematic, certainly when you're on the Hudson River.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that's would be nice to have is there's no laundry here.
Correct. Yeah,
Right,
there's no laundry. I have discovered one that's a 25-minute walk.
Yeah.
But overall though, it's quiet. The restaurant here is decent. The bathrooms and showers are clean, and it's going to be at least my home for the next week or so until those canals open and Bela returns from his family adventure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm headed home tomorrow. It looks like for graduation. One of my nieces is graduating from optometry school, and then the following weekend, her sister, my other niece, is getting married. So I'll be gone for at least probably a week and a half, and Mike will be here by himself tending to the boat. And then I'll be back, and hopefully by then the canal will be open and zippity-doo-dah.
We'll be in Vermont in 3 or 4 days.
We'll be heading north. So thanks for listening. I'm not sure when the next episode will come out. More than likely it will be after I return and we have the mast secured on the boat, and we're heading north. So thanks for listening, and take care. Bye-bye. Hope you enjoyed this episode. And as always, if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to contact us at sailingtheeast, that's all one word, at gmail.com. That's sailingtheeast at gmail.com. Thanks for listening.